haven't been given that success. So that's something that we need to be thankful for. Another thing is, brothers and sisters, now that we are already in the right frame of mind to go and perform Hajj, it's important that we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to arrive in Al-Makkah. Again, year in, year out, I see brothers and sisters, last minute, what happens to people is, they might break their foot, maybe there is a death in their, in their families, which causes them now to not be able to go out and perform Hajj, to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us reach, to allow us the ability to go and perform the Hajj, and to be from those of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he said, Al-Hajju wal-Ghazi fi sabilillahi wal-Mu'tamir wafdullah. The one who goes out and performs Hajj, the person who goes out to perform Jihad, and also the person who goes and performs Umrah, they are wafdullah. They are the guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Da'ahum fa'ajabuh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invited them and they accepted the invitation. فَسَأَلُوا فَأَعْطَاهُمْ. And they also asked Allah Azza wa Jal and He gave them. And in another narration it says that they asked Allah Azza wa Jal to forgive them. And what happened? Allah Azza wa Jal forgave them for all the sins that they had. Brothers and sisters, something that I'm going to inshallah ta'ala stand over, which is very, very important, is a couple of things that are pertaining, getting the best out of your Hajj. Because again, year in, year out, I see people, and this is mainly because of the ignorance of not knowing what to do when a person goes out and he performs Umrah and he performs Hajj. People doing many different things that could be the reason why their Hajj or their Umrah becomes now, or it has no reward in it. We, sometimes when we do go out and perform Hajj, we concentrate more on trying to do the right things. But sometimes we forget about some of the things to stay away from. Because we have to understand, when a person goes and he prays, not everybody has the same reward. Even though from the apparent, they all look like they are doing the same thing. Likewise when it comes to fasting. Prophet ﷺ, he told us about the salat. إِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَيَنْصَرِفُ مِنْ صَلَاتِهِ فَمَا كُتِبَ لَهُ مِنْ صَلَاتِهِ لَعُشْرُهَا أو تِسْعُهَا أو ثُمُنُهَا. A person, he prays, and he comes out of prayer and he only has 10% of the reward. And then the Prophet said, or maybe 20%, or maybe 30%, or maybe 40%, or maybe 50%. The person who fulfills all the obligations and he also fulfills all the recommended acts is not like the person who just prays the prayer and he's thinking about what his wife is cooking for him, or where his car keys are, or there's no concentration in the salah. Likewise you have with the fasting. Prophet ﷺ, he said, رُبَّ صَائِمْ لَيْسَ لَهُ مِنَ الصِّيَامِ إِلَّا الْجُوعُ وَالْعَطَشِ. Perhaps he might fast, but he gets nothing out of fasting except what? Hunger and thirst. Maybe because he backbites, he can't control his tongue, or maybe he transgresses and so on and so forth. That brings me to the point of Hajj. Again, even though everybody is wearing the same garment, and everyone is doing from the apparent the exact same rituals, but not everybody comes out the same when it comes to reward. And that's exactly what the Prophet ﷺ told us. He said, مَنْ حَجَّ وَلَمْ يَرْفُثْ وَلَمْ يَفْسُقْ رَجَعَ كَيَوْمِ وَلَدَتْهُ أُمُّهُ. Whoever performs Hajj and he doesn't fall into any obscenity or any transgression, he comes back like a newly born baby. A newly born baby that has no sins and he has a clean slate. So I'm sure every single one of us, the thousands of pounds that he's currently spending in order to go and perform Hajj, it'll be really sad. You come on Yawm al-Qiyamah and all your actions are like haba'an manthura. They are like what? Scattered particles, and you have absolutely nothing. So some of the things that we need to be staying away from that I'm going to mention inshallah ta'ala is that which is pertaining to sins. And the sins are of many different types. And one is more worse than the other. And I'll give you real life examples of things that I witnessed while going around and doing tawaf around the Kaaba. Firstly, one of the things that I want to mention is just falling into sins generally. Second thing is doing something of what is like a lot of people do when they do and go perform Umrah, innovation. And the third thing, that which is far greater than all of that, is maybe falling into the biggest and most serious sin that a person can ever fall into, and that is a shirk. Brothers and sisters, a couple of years ago when I was performing tawaf, something that really hit me was how I saw people performing tawaf and they started shouting out, "Oh Ali, save us from the fire." And what was even more saddening was, there was people going around circumambulating the Kaaba who just didn't know. They seen everybody doing this, so they started doing it as well. They probably don't even know what they're saying, but they're saying them themselves as well. And we know, brothers and sisters, this is very serious. The only thing that we should be calling onto is Allah Azza wa Jal, right? If we want to ask, we ask Allah Azza wa Jal. So people are going around the Kaaba and they're calling out, thinking that this is part of your tawaf, saying, "Ya Ali, save us from the fire." An Egyptian guy who's also doing tawaf, he shouts back at them and he says, "Say Ya Allah." He shouts back at them and says, "Ya Allah." So they raise their voice even louder, "Oh Ali, save us from the fire." And brothers and sisters, this is not like backbiting. This is not like innovation. This is the biggest sin, that if a person was to die upon that, you're not coming out of the fire. Inna Allah la yaghfiru an yushraka bih wa yaghfiru ma duna dhalik. Allah forgives everything except this act. And subhanAllah, brothers and sisters, you need to understand that there's a lot of ignorance when you go there. We should not do anything in Hajj and Umrah except that we are 100% sure that the Prophet ﷺ done it. And his companions, they were upon this. That's something that we need to be very wary about. So that's the major shirk. We know that shirk is of two types. You've got the major and the minor. The minor, also something that I see time and time again every single year. And I've seen this now because I've been living in Medina for the last year. Sometimes sitting in the Haram, in the Prophet's Masjid, or when I go out for Umrah and I sit in front of the Kaaba. And this is again, brothers and sisters, something that could really destroy your actions, is showing off. And I'm sure most of you that are sitting here, you're going to know what I'm speaking about. A guy is performing tawaf and he's got a camera walking around like that. Another person, he goes in front of the Kaaba and he does this. Someone takes the picture, and as soon as the camera moves, he drops his hands. That posture that person he done, which is an act of worship, billahi alayk, did this person solely do it because he wanted to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or was it because he wants his family members in Indonesia or in Pakistan or in India or in Britain to see that he's actually doing the ibadah? Many people fall into this. You know, one thing the Prophet ﷺ was scared for his companions, the companions. The best people to walk on the face of this earth were the companions. خَيْرُكُمْ قَرْنِي ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ. His position, there's one of his friends who's on the other side of the masjid, he's taking a picture. The other one comes on the other side of the room, takes another picture. As soon as the picture is done, he goes. Again, another example of what many people do. Guys, we know that the shirk al-asghar, the minor shirk, all the actions that you're doing, you could just totally flush it down the drain. And it's a fitna that many people have been afflicted with today. I don't want to necessarily go into whether picture taking and what the scholars they say, because there's a group of scholars that say picture making is totally impermissible. Others say no, it's completely different. The intended purpose is just drawing. I don't necessarily want to go into that. Regardless of what your position on the issue of pictures is, brothers and sisters, just be very conscious of it while you are performing this Hajj. You spend 4,000, some of you are even more. There's people who pay 6,000 and 7,000 when going out for Hajj. That's a lifetime saving that we have forked out.